But what about now? Can you hear me? What about now? It's better? So it was my bad. So sorry about that because I changed my microphone. Thank you, Bill. Welcome to ALX Pro. So sorry about that because this MacBook Pro is a new one, which is so amazing for me. I think it's going to be my first time recording this material with using this computer, but I really appreciate that. Thanks for helping me. This tutorial, you're going to learn how to use Liveview with TDD. It's some techniques that I've been using like around 1 year, 2 years. I've been using Liveview 2 years, and most of the time now I use TDD. And this is so amazing because we're not going to open our browser. Our final result will be open the browser, not start opening the browser, coding Liveview stuff, which is really nice. Uh, and also, most of the time, I'm going to explain how to test Liveview and why it's so important start testing Liveview instead of working with context. Also, sometimes it's better you test the context, but this is another topic to discuss. Okay, so what I did was just create Liveview projects, an empty project. I did nothing. I just created this project and started the Git. To start that, I'm going to execute mixphx server. And we have a totally empty application. So the database is not created. Let's setting up. Is everything okay now, Bill and Dojo? And now let's execute mixphx.server. And what we're gonna do is just checking this application. But this, we're going to check this page when we finish this video. I'm just gonna show you that this is an empty application. And what we're gonna do is just clean this project. So like, we're not gonna use the page. We're not gonna use the controllers. So this is everything that we need now. It's an empty page, unfortunately. So as you can see, page init controller it doesn't work because this is a stateless page. And then we're gonna keep focus on live view. Thank you so much. Like this, it's better. If it's better, let me know. But one of the things that is essential for us to start using TDD is test, watch, Elixir. I love this plug. I'm going to start following this guy, this material because I like it a lot. And we're going to install this plug, which is really important for us. So this is everything that we need. Our latest step is going to be start our application. Okay, mixdeps.get. And now what we are going to do first of all is mix test page, but we don't have the live folder. And also we are going to start using the test watch. So as I mentioned to you, our latest step will be open the browser. We're not going to open the browser anymore. Okay. So I'm not gonna see the channel here most of the time. I'm going to keep focus on the tutorial. Okay. But the main focus now, we learned that we need to use the test watch Elixir. This is a really amazing plugin. I'm gonna share with all of you guys. So everything that we need is this guy. Okay, so now we are using the watch. It's still compiling our code. Let's wait for a little while. Our database does not exist. Let me create. We are going to start receiving a lot of error messages. This is so normal for now. Create and migrate. Now let's start using again our watch. So the first step is that our folder does not exist. So what we are going to do is create our folder called live folder. So this is everything that we need for now. And let me give you some explanation why I always use TDD, even when we have the live view. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm gonna read some comments here, okay? But one of the first steps is always using live view with TDD is because what live view and TDD provides to me, uh, tiny pages and tiny components. Other thing is easier to refactor. Another thing that I came across is that test all functionality and events. Um, um, Other thing that I came across is I don't know. Let me try to explain this in English. Is test our functionalities and provide. You can rely in your you can build reliable pages as well. So this techniques always start like we have the live page. We always start with the test. So in this case, we can call like let me think. Um, mm, um, TDD live underscore test EXS. What we're gonna do is def module TDD. It's not loading, so let me check what we have here. I'm going to copy this guy, but TDD live test. This is going to be our test module. And one of the things that we're gonna do is use Liveview web dot connection case and import also. I think it's Phoenix live view test, this module here. This is essential for us because we have like I like this way to start my application, just to show to all of you guys. Let me show you. Let me check if we have some comments here. And I like this way because we have like a Phoenix, a live view test. This is really useful sometimes. Like I have questions how to use has element. I have questions how to use element and whatever. It's really important for us. This is an amazing tip that I'm gonna give you for you. Like if you have any questions how to load the elements, how to use tests, I always use this shortcut to get information to start testing. Okay, let's go ahead. And what we're gonna do is like creating our test, saying, hey, I always start load the essential elements page. And we are going to receive our connection. So you can ask me, like, but Gus, where did you get those informations? I got those informations from a connection case. The final, it starts in support. and the final result will be our connection, which is going to build a connection for us. And also, when we are using the live view, as I mentioned to you, this module is so important for us to understand how to test. So what we are gonna do, like live testing our connection and our path. We still don't have the path, but what I'm gonna do is like using the routes. Yes, we're going to build our route saying like TDD underscore live, passing our connection, and our page will be the index. When we use the live, it's returned for us like connection, our view. It's really important. We are going to discuss a lot about those elements here. And when we do it, I always start with elements like has element, view, and our element will be like the ID will be hi. And we'll say hello. Let me check who is here. So this is going to be our first test to pass. And if our test is passing, this is an amazing technique that I use. We're gonna use the open browser and say, hey, I want to open the browser and check the result. So as you can see, I did nothing. I just created my first test using the live view. So this is what we did. So as you can see, we start having like pass given to a mixed test, did not match any directory. That's weird. Should start running. Let me check what's happened. I found the problem. So my mistake. Mixed test live view TDD web live. Now let's start using the watch. So as you can see, our first test is because TDD underscore live does not exist. Sorry, this was my mistake. Is TDD of TDD path, I think, probably. And I will show you what's gonna happen. Now, what we're gonna do is we have to do is to create our directory to this live view page. And to do that, we only need to go to our router. As you can see, this one does not exist. We need to choose like live view. This is going to be our root folder, and our module will be TDD live. And that's all that we need to create our page. So as you can see, we still have problems to create our page. What I'm gonna do is just to show another way to check our path. So ix-s mix phx.server. We're gonna do like TDD what is our application? Live view TDD web router helpers, and we have now our new URL, or we should have here. Let me check. Live dashboard. This is really, I don't care about all of them. Let me recompile the code. It should appear in your URL over here. Nothing, really? Okay, what's happened? So we have our TDD live. I think this is more than enough for what we need. So let me try to create the module, and then we can go ahead and keep checking the route. So live TDD live.ex F module, and now we are gonna need to create our live view TDD underscore live. We are going to use live view. And I think this is enough for now. It's saying that we have a problem to render. So let's create our TDD live.html. It's still failing, but the most important for us now is to get the path. So let's try to get router helpers. We should see another informations here. That's so weird. Let me try to restart our application. Now let's try to get using the Liveview TDD web router helpers. That's so weird. Let me check if I did something wrong. We have our router. So I think, yes, we can use Phoenix Live View Router Live. So this is more than enough for what we need. Yes, it's correct. Let me check. What is our problem here? It's because we don't have the TDD path. But thank you so much, Bill, for joining. But this is weird. We should have our router here, but we don't have. Is undefined or private? Let me check what's happened, because we have our TDD path, but the router does not recognize that we have a router here. Let me check one more time. Can't see it. Live path. Let's try to use the live path. Or maybe I'm not gonna use this guy, but I like to use this way, but for some reason, Liveview is not recognizing our route. But now, what we get here is that we have this ID and this message. What we're gonna do is that we have our page. We need something like H1 hi saying hello soul. And now, as you could see, our test now is passing, and we have our open browser saying, hey, I want to open the browser and check the final result. And this is what we get now in our paging, which is really nice tool to use. So another thing that we need to understand here is that what we did first, we prepare our we prepare our first test loading the elements, which is really necessary. After that, we check if the elements is in our screen. And after that, we can open the browser just to make sure how the page is loaded, which is really nice way to start thinking. This is changing our way to think about Liveview, but it's really nice tool. So another thing that I wanna show you is that you can imagine that I have the elements say hello soul, and also I want to start create a button to increment. This is really common. You can see a lot of tutorials through the internet showing how to load elements, but using TDD, using some techniques, which is going to provide a huge coverage in your code in a so reliable code. You're gonna see it right now. So other things that we should consider, we have our view, our OK, and our HTML. So most of your time, I strongly don't recommend not to use the HTML because, for example, I want to try and I want to test that we have our HTML, and I want to check, for example, that we have some informations like hi. As you can see, our task is still passing, but is it a message that we have in our HTML, or is this ID? This is really important. I know that you can say, Gustavo, I only need to include like a hashtag here. It's okay, but this is not our main focus. Or maybe you can say like, hey, for us, we means nothing. I strongly recommend always to get like the assert elements instead of using the HTML. Most of the time I use the underscore in testing using the view. Okay, so other things that we're going to learn is we're going to start growing our code using testing. And after creating the test, what we're going to do is start thinking about components. I hope to have some times to discuss about handle info, but trust me, most of your time when you use the live view, we're going to spend most of your time testing handle events. After handle events, you're going to spend a little bit more of your time testing handle info. And sometimes updates, which means components. And the other, sometimes in this order, hooks and JS. So most of the time that I spent, that I've been using the live view, I spent those times only testing handle events and split in components. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to create our test. So we finished our first test. Our second one will be when click to increment should, when we click in button should increment. This is going to be our next test. So what are the elements that we need to have in our screen? So we're going to have count, we're going to have a number, we're going to have our button, link. And what we're going to test, we're going to test when click link should increment. Let's start focused on load the elements, the essential elements, which is are those informations here. So assert has element. As in our view, do we have the element called count1? And the text will be count. Do we have our count1 result? And we started with the number 0. Also, do we have button count1 button? And the text is ink. If it is, I want to open our browser. This is going to be our first test. So what we are gonna do is, okay, let's gonna use this techniques. So we are going to have our a div, and in this div we're going to have our maybe h1 count 1. Let's check if our TDD is working. Now we need to get this ID. It's going to be maybe right here, I think. And we can say span or strong span. And our text will be 1. And this is going to be strong 1. Let's check if it works. It's 1. It's 0, sorry, my bad. Now, what is missing is our button. So what we're gonna do is just create a button where we have ID count number 1, button, and the text will be ink. Let's check if it works. Now, we open the browser and we have our account here, which is really nice way to think when you have tests. But also what we're gonna do is that when we click to increment, I want to change the count result to number 1. This is what we want to do. So what we are gonna do now is that we are going to have a button to click. So we already have this button over here. We can just copy this information and say view element. We can say ink as well. And when we click on this button, we can use the render click. When we do it, the new result will be 1. So this is what we'll have to do. So as you can see, we don't have the phx click attribute. What we can learn after this moment, what we can learn is that we have Phoenix Liveview helping us to creating our task. So what we can do here, we already have our button and we need to include our phx click. And we can say increment. When we do it, let's check the next result. It's going to say that we don't have the event, the handle event. So what we are gonna do is to, we have our TDD live over here. As you can see, we don't have our mount. Let's use the def handle event saying ink. We have the params. I don't care about the params. And we are going to say no reply socket. But in this case, we are going to say assign. Also, if you pay attention, we didn't mount our screen. What we can do is we need information to say in our account, what is this number? This number should comes from our live view page. We should provide this information. So we can say mount, receiving our params, our session, our socket. And we're going to say, okay, assign socket my count is going to start with 1, or maybe count will be ID will be 1, and value will be 0. I think that's all that we need for now. Let's just keep focus on this guy. And what we are going to do is to provide our count in our page, so we can say that we have count ID, and also we can say the same here, but let's switch this guy to live view. Okay, I forgot attribute. Now everything is working, but when we go to our test, we need to click on this element and see count result number 1. So for now, what we have here is count value. Let's check what's going to happen. And it's still 0. What we are going to do is just using our count, we're going to update this guy, receiving socket signs count, and we are going to say that our count will be count, but the value will be count value plus 1. When we use the assign, let's check if it works. So as you could see, we use TDD techniques to provide a better result. And when we do it, like open the browser, view, let's take a look at what's happened. As you could see, we have the result tested without we open the browser, which is really powerful way to build your live view pages. I really like this way, and also you can move faster. Seems that it's not, but you can move much more faster. I use this technique, and most of my time, I save much more time using this technique. So as you could see, we provided a way to test our page. We still didn't open our page, but now when we open the page, we have the same result, which is really nice. Now I can click to increment, and everything's still working. So I would like to hear from you if you have seen this technique. I would like to hear that if you've learned this way to test live view. Also, most of your time, I think 90% of your time, you will test loading components and test and handle events. Sometimes I would say like 90%, I I cannot sure about it, but about my experience, I spent most of the time 90% using this guy, 6%, maybe 5%, this guy. Update components, I would say 3%, and hooks and JS 2%. This is what I'm explaining to you. It's like 90% of testing using the live view, TDD using the live view. So what's happened here? It's much more easier to create components now instead of, can say, it's much more easier to test components now instead of testing live view, instead of like creating the page and then creating the test. So I like this way a lot. So what makes these things easier now? We can create a component easily. So let's creating a component. So what we're gonna do is start testing our page. So as you can see, everything is working, the same result, which is really nice for us. Let me close everything. I'm just gonna open the TDD live test. I'm going to remove the open browser, and now I'm going to refactor my test. So what I'm gonna do is just create a component called count.ex. I'm going to copy this module over here. Makes my life easier, sometimes it's better. Count, but the difference now is that this is going to be a component. And also this guy, we're going to create like HTML, HX, everything is working. I just need to move this guy to this one. And also to start using this guy over here, our test is going to start failing. I just need to copy this guy, create an alias. Now, what we are gonna do is just like live component module count ID will be at count.id and our count will be at count. This is more than enough, and probably our application will keep working, I think. And there you go. But as I mentioned to you, when we use TDD with Liveview, it's provided to us a way to create tiny pages and tiny components. So what we are going to do now is that the increment is not a parent responsibility, but a component responsibility. What we're going to do is just get this handle event and move to our account. When we do it, as you can see, our test probably will start failing. And there you go. What we can do to make those tests working, we only need to say phx target at myself. When we do it, everything starts working. But what I usually do, for example, we have those tests over here, but I strongly recommend, for example, this test is related to a component. I strongly recommend you to create like a page or like a folder saying, for example, count test.exs. I'm just going to copy those informations over here and we split the responsibility. And I'm just going to cut this test and move to other file like this. And now we have TDD live count. And everything is going to start working. And there you go. This example, it's so simple, but so powerful. I'm going to wrap up for now. And I hope you guys enjoy, learned a lot as well. And see you in the next video. Bye-bye.